Okay, so today what I'd like to do is spend some time and help people understand how to record in how to record multiple examples. I do this in French. Like, let's say I want to learn a number of connectors. How do I record some example sentences and then have them play from the recording, and then so I can repeat them, sort of a call and response drill. Um, I remember when I was a kid, my granddad, I would walk in and he had to have the American Living Language uh, LPs. He spoke 4 or 5 languages, so it was common for me to walk in and see him doing this. And he'd have them on his little LP player, and he'd be listening and repeating and listening and repeating and listen. So it was one of the things I learned a number of things about how to learn study foreign languages from my grandfather. So that was one of them. But one of the frustrations I've had for years is it's very difficult to find decent material. Um, you know, can you show me the way to the post office and repeating that 80 times? But okay, well, what if I want to say I want to understand how to ask for another set of towels when I'm at the hotel, and they don't have the exact sort of thing to do that, and I don't know, maybe it's helpful, maybe it's not. So I like to have my own materials. The problem is, you can come up with those things and find professional voice talent, and that's fantastic. But it's difficult and it's hard, and takes some coordination. It's much better today, but even still, it's a thing. So what I have found is that with ChatGPT and text to speech readers, I can get 95% of what I need in pretty good accent, at least good enough that I'm not going to create any worse accent than I have as an American as it stands, right? So, and most of what I'm looking for is the muscle memory of the call and response, right? So that I it comes up and I hear it and I say it, and it's sort of ingrained in me. How to use these things, right? So as tools, as sort of speech bits, speech patterns to replicate. Okay, so let's say I want to learn these three connectors à cause de, même si, pourtant. So what I do is I've got a prompt here that tells ChatGPT how I want it to look, and I want it to be entirely in French, and I want to only use je, on, nous, vous. I want the sentences to be 8 to 11 words, maybe max 12. And what I find is that as I'm listening to these things and repeating them, more than 12 words, especially the first few times I'm listening to it, it's just too hard for me to remember and repeat. And in a foreign language, and perhaps you're different, and if you've got more headspace than me, great. Do longer sentences. Shorter sentences work great for me. So the register, natural, spoken, make it all statements, no questions, no dialogues. So have every sentence end with a period. And then I want this example sentence, I want to repeat 5 times. So it'll repeat, pause for me to repeat. It'll say the sentence, pause for long enough for me to repeat the sentence, say the sentence again, pause for long enough for me to repeat the sentence. So that process goes on 5 times, right? And then it moves on to the next example sentence that it's created. So I've found this to be super helpful, and 5 is kind of the magic number for me. It can do 10, but that gets a little bit hard and repetitive, and it's fine to do once or twice, but I find myself avoiding going back and repeating the material if it's 10 times. 5 times is pretty good, and I can make it through half a dozen iterations, repetitions of the recording without wanting to, stick a fork in my eye because I'm so bored. So there you go. That's my process. So what we're going to do right now is we will copy this, and then we will go to Chat GPT, and we will say we're going to paste the connector and the prompt. We're going to paste the prompt and everything that we're looking to have it do for us. There we go. Boom. All right, so for the following three connectors, à cause de, même si, pourtant, execute the following, blah, blah. All right, connector examples, call and response. Here we go. So it's rolling out. Let's see. Just here. Okay, so now it's drives me crazy with ChatGPT that it asks like 700 confirmations before it does things. But okay, talk about first world problems. Okay, so it is rolling through. À cause de, there's our 5. Même si, there's our 5. Pourtant, and it's in the midst. It is getting there. We're almost there. 4, 5, boom! Bob's your uncle. Okay, so I am gonna copy this, and I could do the copy in ChatGPT, but what I find is, what it did not do. We need to put a pause after those numbers, or else they'll just run right over. So put a pause of bang, bang, curly, curly, pause 500, and these are in milliseconds. So that's half a second, which doesn't seem like a lot, but oddly it is. It's perfect amount after each number, period. And period. Okay. And I think further up there's a close parent. Put a pause of the same format. After each close parent. Okay. Ba-boom. Here we go. There you go. There's our pauses after the numbers. So that keeps it from going à cause de. So as opposed to à cause de. All right. 2. Then we get one more. Okay. Super cool. There's our 5. And we are going to go up here and copy this. And I could just use the copy here in ChatGPT. That'd be fine, but I'd have to take out the other stuff. Okay, so here we are in TTS Reader, and where you want to go is ttsreader.com/player, text-to-speech. This is great to play around with, by the way. And then I'm on a paid program, which I think is $10 a month, which is, given how much I use this, is fantastic. What you get with the paid program versus the free program is a little better voices, a little more natural sounding voices. But you know what? If you're really not looking to actually sort of replicate the accent as much as you're looking to have it be good enough and get the muscle memory of saying the words in place. Okay, so here we go. We've pasted it into TTS Reader. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of. And so what I like to do at the end is just say, fin, 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 because it'll just go quiet, and I won't know if I'm waiting for something else as I'm listening to it, which is ridiculous. But, there it is. Okay, generate audio file. Oh, let's go through some other settings first. So the voice you can pick, so you can pick the language. And this is fascinating. If you have the French language picked and you happen to have some English stuff in there, it'll read it as if the word is in French. So, if you put in, we have to go by the fire department, it'll read, we have to go by the fire department. and which is fantastic. So, and probably more funny for me than anybody else, but just understand that is how this is going to roll out. So if you've got instructions in there in English, it's gonna franglicize them. Okay, lots of different options here in terms of who and what and blah blah. And then there's also free options, and the free voices, they're not terrible, right? They're
Ravi de vous rencontrer. Saviez-vous que la plupart des oiseaux peuvent voir plus de couleurs? Ravi de vous rencontrer. Saviez-vous que la plupart des oiseaux peuvent voir plus de couleurs que les humains?
Viviane.
Ravi de vous rencontrer. Je serai ravie d'être votre narratrice.
Okay.
Je propose de superbes fonctionnalités comme le surlignage de texte, la persistance.
So the premium voices sound better. So that is just true. So you get a little more for that. So, but you don't need it. It's not super, super important. Okay. And then I always put the time at about 0.9. Sometimes if they're longer sentences, I will put it at 0.8, but 0.9 seems to be about right. Over 1 or 1.2 is 2. That's I'm not there yet. I can't do that. So I don't. Okay. So we're going to create and download the MP3. Okay, so here it goes. So it's going to take 30 seconds, and I am going to pause our video. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to take a listen to what our product sounds like. So I always think this little sheet's sort of interesting. It has time codes in there, right? The most interesting thing for me is to kind of go down to the end. Okay, where do we end up? Okay, 14 minutes. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, it's 3 connectors, 5 rounds apiece. Okay, super cool. That works great. And what do we get? I can't remember. We did 5 examples, 5 times each. So that works. So let's listen to the
1. À cause de. Registre, standard. Je dors mal à cause du bruit.
Je dors mal à cause du bruit.
Je dors mal à cause du bruit.
Je dors mal à cause du bruit. So there you go. That's how it sounds. That's what you do. Then, frankly, you can tighten that up and make those pauses a little shorter if you want. So that's obviously totally within your control. And then what I do is I download the file. And is it downloading? It is not downloading. Here we go. Vivienne, here we go. I'm downloading the file. And then I will, so it doesn't name it, right? So I like to name it initially right off the bat. So 10, 20, 25, dash 10, 24, connector. Okay, there we go. And then I will put it into where I put it generally. And okay, we're back again in the saddle. Okay, so we've downloaded the recording of our connectors and 5 examples, sentences repeated 5 times each. And we are now going to go move it to a place I can get to on my phone. So I have already renamed the downloaded file because it just does 1 or 2 or 3. And okay, fine. So that's cool. If you move it immediately and rename it, that's cool too. But all right, so I've renamed the file, and then because this shows up in the files application on my iPhone, where I put this, so it's easy for me to find when I'm driving, because invariably I forget to do it right before I take off, and so I'm at some stop sign and holding up traffic, and I've got late people going to pick up their kids at school honking at me, and anyway, it helps me keep them sane if I know exactly where to look for it. because clearly I'm not skilled enough to remember to do this before I start driving. So anyway, so here's my file, and where do I want to put it so I can find it on my phone? Desktop, and then here's the path that I have set up: audio TTS French, and then écouter en voiture, so which is to say listen in my car. And then because I just crank out so many of these, I have a priority listen right now. So when I go there, I know, oh yeah, here's my short list, and I try to manage this, right? So okay, so now I'm putting it in, and it will show up here for me to be able to play when I get to my car. So okay, so we're back. So we have downloaded the file onto my desktop download folder, and we are going to I move it into a special folder that I can find on my Mac that syncs to a folder in the Files app on the phone that I want to be easy to find. So if we taking some screenshots. So I would not suggest anybody try to replicate my file system structure and organization, but here it is. Okay, so here on my desktop, I have a audio TTS French folder. And beneath that, I have a écouter en voiture. That's where I tend to dump my audio stuff. And then under that, I have a priority listen right now. So I can find this on my phone from the Files app on my iPhone. Okay, so priority listen right now is because I generate a lot of these things, so I like to be able to sort of manage a short list. And then, okay, apparently this is the short list. And then what we've got is the 1024, 2025, 1024. Here it is, the 2025 1024 connectors in the priority listen right now folder. And then if I hit play in that, here's it.
À cause de registre standard. Je dors mal à cause du bruit.
So there you go. That was obviously off my iPhone. And as they say, Bob's your uncle.